Hey, Shalom, Dawada Abanawa, much mercy to you brothers out there that's understanding this new covenant that are growing under the Lord's grace. There's only grace in the new covenant. You can't serve two masters. Let me bring this out real quick. And when guys refer back to Jeremiah seeking for the old paths, when Jeremiah say seek for the old paths, they're trying to lure you back to the old. It's all about the new. You cannot be saved off the old. You cannot be justified off the old. So for men that are teaching you to rely on the old and the old paths and all this demonic shit they're doing, they're trying to get you to keep to the old. Because we have Satan working through men in these last days. You got to understand that. Satan is a spirit. All right. He's an evil spirit that has taken over the majority of our people. And then they don't even know it. And so they don't have the doctrine of the new. These false prophet camps and churches and certain synagogues that's out here, they don't have the doctrine of the new. So that's why they hold you to the old. So you have to understand this, because certain men, their doctrine is to hold you to the old. Their doctrine is against the Gentiles believing. Certain Gentiles are believing in this time, all right? Certain Gentiles are justified through God through their belief. And only certain Israelites. The rest of you guys holding to this demonic camp doctrine with your elders, they're holding to demonic camp doctrine. And the thing about these elders, man, they're through. Their whole doctrine is going to get a lot of men destroyed, because you're not supposed to hold men to the old paths. When the Lord came in the first century, this was the beginning of something new. This is why a lot of guys, they hated what the Lord was bringing, because this didn't only just include Israelites. This actually involved all that believed in the Lord. So the new covenant, right? When you go to Acts the 2nd chapter, we broke it down, Zephaniah the 3rd chapter. The new language that the new covenant is speaking, it is a different language. So you don't have to have you don't have to be from a specific country or place. Everybody can have different language, but we're speaking one language, and that's the new covenant, if you get what I'm saying. So guys that don't have the language of the new covenant, they're not of the Lord, all right? They're holding you to the old paths, which those old paths are the ministration of death. And according to Galatians, men are cursed holding that old law. And I seen one reprobate video where this guy said that they're under the order of Melchizedek, but they're holding the old law. No, you're not under two laws. Reprobate. So they're teaching our people confusion, unbelief, hate. They're teaching our people disbelief, telling men they need new bodies before they get in the covenant. So how are you under the order of Melchizedek and you need a new body first? You guys are teaching all types of damnable heresies to get you guys destroyed in the lake of fire, which you guys don't believe. Everything you guys are doing, and you can't say nobody didn't tell you, you're leading men to hell fast, like a snowball coming down the hill. That's how fast you're leading men to hell with that doctrine you guys are teaching. So when men say they want to hold you to the old paths, you have to understand that they're holding you to the old law. They're holding you to the old ministration, which was done away when the Lord came. So all you guys that are holding to the old law, what you're doing is you're making the blood of the Lord none effect, and you're not in the spirit. Because now God is a spirit, and the only way you worship the Lord is in the spirit. It's nothing tangible. You see what I'm saying? That's why for a lot of us brothers teaching, certain of us, we don't want to be seen. Just see the spirit that we're teaching. Just understand that. That means more than you looking at somebody. So the Lord said that he is a spirit. Let me read this in Matthew 6. Because you cannot serve two masters at all. So guys holding you to the old law, they are cursed. Because in the first century, by the Lord bringing in new law, this makes that old law void. That's why it says he took away the first that he may establish the second. And so men of the spirit, they're not going to do things unlawful. They're not going to commit adultery. Joseph didn't need the law to not commit adultery. Abraham didn't need that the law of Moses to actually have faith in the Lord. You don't need that old law. You see what I'm saying? So that law wasn't written for righteous men. So we understand by guys holding to that old law that they are not righteous. They are wicked. So by holding that old law, you don't understand the Gentiles can come in by belief. By holding that old law, you don't understand that certain men have the new law written in them, which the main law is mercy and faith. So guys don't believe, and they're teaching, they're fucking news reporters, and they're holding the Bible. So what you're witnessing is a cursed generation that are teaching in unbelief, which is not helping them. And like I said, they did that video last week, and they said that they have stony hearts. So they don't have a heart of faith. They don't have a heart of understanding. They're just on videos teaching. I seen one of these videos. These guys did a video on what he eats in the kitchen. You guys, bro, it ain't funny, but the state of our people, they're so against the Gentiles. They're so against the new covenant and the doctrine. They're trying to keep you to the old paths. And this is what Satan is doing. This is Matthew 6:24. It says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other. You can't serve the law of Moses, and you can't serve the new covenant. The law of Moses was established when the Lord come. So to a certain degree, the Lord followed that law until he died on the cross and got glorified. Once he got glorified, that was it for that old law of Moses. Then the campaign to the Gentiles started. But hence, understand this, the Lord was healing Gentiles in Mark 3, Matthew 8. Some Gentiles were believing on the Lord before then, the woman at the well. So the major campaign started when the Lord got glorified and he died on the cross. This is why he said don't go to the Gentile nations in Matthew 15. After the Lord got glorified, then a major campaign to the Jews started. This is when the Lord got his power. He got his power over death and hell. He has the keys to death. You see? And a lot of guys don't have the understanding of the new. So this new covenant language has nothing to do with old ancient paleo or the Hebrew that they're teaching. Because the new covenant language is only for believers. And you could speak in any language. Zechariah 3 and Acts the 2nd chapter, that is the fulfillment of Zechariah 3. The new language is the new covenant, the language of belief and love and mercy. When certain Gentiles are able to come in through belief, only through belief. Just like this Israelite thing, a lot of you guys don't even believe in what you're teaching. You don't even believe in this, man. You're just in the way. A lot of you guys are just in the way. A lot of you guys are just doing videos. You really don't have no love. Or a lot of you guys are haters, and you're jealous and you're envious. And a lot of you guys are just in the way doing videos. You're just cluttering. You don't have any love or no compassion. Because really, if you're teaching these videos in hate, and you're teaching against the Gentiles, and you're teaching men that you're waiting on a new body, you're not helping yourself or anybody listening. That's why a lot of you guys have blood in your hand. It is not about a microchip. It is about an eternal death. This is about you repenting in the body that you're in, because you only get one shot in that body. A lot of you don't understand this because you're unbelieving. Teaching man there's no hell, that's reprobate. You're in a fucking reprobate fucking mind state teaching men that ain't no hell. You got to be out of your mind to teach the Bible, to teach men that ain't no hell. And you guys are out of your mind. That shows that you don't believe in nothing that the new covenant is about. So that's why this new covenant is speaking a new language you guys can't speak. It's not for you to speak. This is why guys hold to the old path, because they like that old wine better. Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other. You cannot serve two covenants. If you were in one record deal with a record company, you can't go sign with another record company. So that's why when the Lord died on the cross, he was glorified. So his law started at the cross. All right. For all you guys that don't have no understanding. It says, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. For a lot of you guys that have sold out for money and fame. And a lot of you guys that do this to be seen, you're hypocrites. A lot of you guys are hypocrites in the streets. You don't even believe. You just doing it to... A lot of you guys just go out there to do it just to say you went out there and did it. You really don't even believe. You just doing it to make it say like, well, I went out there. See, I go out to the streets, and you don't even believe. You don't even have the Lord's doctrine. It's like over 80 to 90% of you guys are reprobates on the street. Luke 5 and 37, it says, no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine will burst the bottles and be spilt, and the bottle shall perish. Right, so this new covenant cannot go into these guys that are holding to the old law, you old bottles. This new covenant cannot go into you unbelievers. You have no understanding of this new covenant like that. The new covenant, what you guys don't understand about the new covenant, brothers that really understand it, that's in it. And I want to say this too, we all are growing in the new covenant because the new covenant is steady unfolding. And a lot of you guys are stunning your growth because of your hate and you can't take correction. So a lot of you guys are stuck at a certain level and you don't understand that us certain brothers have advanced understanding. We can like see things you normally wouldn't be able to see. We see them. That's why guys think they think we're stupid or something. Like we understand, we see and we feel things. Yes, and we have dreams. Guys, the Lord let us know things aforetime. That's all another note. But a lot of you guys think we're stupid. We're really not. We're really far ahead of you guys in understanding. We have to condescend down to your level just to get you to understand a little bit. It's heavy. So it's not about nothing carnal. They were speaking different languages in Acts. In the Acts, the 2nd chapter. They all came from different areas, but they all believe. So that makes the new covenant speak a different language. It's not the Hebrew. All right? It's not the Paleo Hebrew. Luke 5 and 37, and no man putteth new wine into old bottles, if the new wine will burst the bottles and be spilt, and the bottle shall perish. Right? So you cannot put this new wine in guys holding to the old law. You are not you're not under the order of Melchizedek holding the old law. You're a reprobate. You're double-minded. And a double-minded man, he's very unstable. All right? You cannot hold two masters, man. Let me grab this in James. And then your elders got the nerve to say that James and them are going off. What more proof do you need that that these fucking camps are leading you straight to hell? And you can't say that you didn't have brothers like advising you to come out of these fucking groups and learn the Lord by yourself, or counsel with certain brothers of the new covenant. Certain brothers, I would say for the most part, the majority of brothers teaching new covenant, they have a sincere heart. But certain guys, a lot of guys that's teaching new covenant, a lot of guys are teaching in hate. You see what I'm saying? A lot of guys think they're on that level, but then they're not really on that level like that. This is James 1. And 6, it says, but let him ask in faith. Matter of fact, James 1 and 5. If any of you lack wisdom, this is what you should do. Let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given unto him. You have to ask the Lord. But let him ask in faith. But let him ask in faith. And that is the problem. A lot of you guys don't have any faith. You're trying to push your own will by making men hold the law. So that's your own will. So you think you're of God because you're holding the old law, because you hold the Sabbath or you hold new moons. You think you're of God because of that, because you don't have no faith. So a lot of you can't ask the Lord in faith to give you understanding because you don't believe anyway. It says, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. So if you say you're in the old covenant and then you believe in you leave in the new, you're tossed to and fro. You're not stable. For let man think that he shall receive anything of God, a double-minded man. For let not that man think he shall receive anything of God. Right? So the doctrine guys are teaching in camps, it is not of God. This new covenant was written on the hearts of certain men, and we could tell the Lord ain't in guys in groups, and a lot of you guys teaching. Because there's a certain language the new covenant is speaking. A lot of you guys are not speaking it. And it has nothing to do with carnal language. The Greek, the Latin, the Hebrew. It has nothing to do with that. It's a language that you guys can't speak. It's a language of love and mercy and peace and really believing. Something you don't have that language. That's why guys are keeping you in the old paths. Because they're old bottles. Teaching false doctrine. James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his way. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. So a double-minded man is unstable. So you can't hold two covenants. So a lot of you guys are unstable. You're either in the old or you're in the new. If you're claiming to the old, you are cursed. You are cursed, man. That's why you guys don't really have no understanding, because you're cursed. Because this doctrine, it is not something carnal. It is beyond the carnal. Galatians 3:10. So you can't hold men to a name in the language. You can't do that. Because the Lord was mentioned in different languages. Every language got a different name that they believed in. It just mattered if they believed in the testimony in the Lord. That's all that matters. Galatians 3:10, for as many are as of the works of the law under the curse. It is written, curses everyone continue not in all things. So you have to keep that old law, not just a Sabbath, not just a holy day. You got to keep the whole law if you're boasting, men, that you're keeping the law. Reprobates. That's why you're cursed. You don't have no understanding of nothing spiritual. That's why you say it's not a hell. We're not in the covenant yet until we get new bodies. This is all carnal shit. I mean, Shalaki, this is all carnal. When these guys say that, they tell you they don't have no faith in these type of things. Curses everyone that continue not in all things which are written in the book to do them. But no man is justified by the law in the sight of God. And this is capital G. Capital G. When you go to, what's that, 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter? The lowercase g, God of this world, have blinded you guys. Like the brother said. The lowercase g. This is a capital G. But no man is justified in the law in the sight of God. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. So we're not living by nothing carnal. That means your language or these names these guys try to fucking portray. These guys are totally carnal. They don't have no understanding about what we're teaching. So no man can serve two masters. You cannot put new wine into old bottles. It's impossible. That's why they don't have no understanding. So they would rather teach a misunderstanding than to teach the right thing. They would rather teach men lies, bro. It's crazy. It says, but new wine must be put into new bottles, and both are preserved. And no man having drunk the old wine straightway desires the new. For he saith the old is better. A lot of you guys like the old way of the camps. And I tell you guys, a lot of you guys, you old bottles, you have slithered your way into the new covenant. But we see you guys. We've been seeing you guys already. All right? Just know that. So when guys talk about some old paths and they're searching, they search the old paths, they're not. That's nothing good. What that guys are telling you, they're telling you that they're trying to hold you to the old law. That's all that's about. Acts 2. Check this out. Acts 2, and this is beautiful, man. Check this out. And they were filled, Acts 2 and 4. And they appeared unto them, cloven tongues like as a fire, and sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. And this is what happened in the beginning of the Gentiles. Like the brother said, the Gentiles didn't Peter and them didn't fully understand the Gentiles to Acts 10. But this was the prelude to the Gentiles. And this Acts 2 is fulfilling Zechariah. It says, and they were filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. So check this out. And they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men of every nation under heaven. And now it has come abroad, a multitude came together. And now the noise abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. So every man was speaking in their own language. And the only thing that mattered is that they believed in the Lord and the Lord's doctrine. So don't let these men get you caught up in some language, in some Hebrew or some Paleo. The name it is. These guys are telling you some name and they don't even believe. They don't even believe in the Lord's doctrine, all right? You better flee these guys, man. You got to flee these old men. These old men are out of their mind, man. Acts 2 and 7. And these guys talking about get to know your biological father. And these guys are getting you to misunderstand the spiritual father. You see how carnal these guys are? It's crazy, bro. Acts 2 and 7. They were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? How hear we every man in their own tongue, wherein we were born? Every man in their own tongue, bro. Speaking different languages in Acts 2. They all was filled with the Holy Ghost. Parthians, Medes, Elamites, dwellers of Mesopotamia and Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, Egypt, and in certain parts of Libya, Cyrene, and the strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Creates, Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God, and they all were amazed and doubt one to another, what meaneth this? Others mocking said, these men are full of new wine. You see? So we have new wine that can't go into these old guys' vessels. They're unbelieving. So that's what's on the forefront. Men trying to hold you to the old law. That's men teaching false doctrine. So you could believe in the body you're in. You could believe with the language you're in. You could believe the Lord by just understanding his testimony. You don't need a language or to be in no land or no new body. That's all bullshit. I'm sorry, I just had to say it like that. And all you false prophets in these camps, your days are numbered. And don't think that brothers ain't hearing this and people are hearing this. All men that believe are justified. There's nothing you devils can do about it. Repent to the new covenant. And with that, shalom.